Right, okay, here we have
Our new fixed guitar, which was a bit old and a bit scratched, but we were able to finish it. So these pegs came from America, but are we going? So those are the old pegs. Here are the new pegs.
These are from Stumac
Yeah,
in America,
yeah.
which these are specially chosen relic tuners, so they match these machine heads, which are the originals from, we think, this 502 Hofner parlor blues guitar is from the mid to late 1960s. Considering its age, it's in really good playable condition, with one exception, which I'll tell you in a minute. Well, that's the tuners. It doesn't stay in tune because the tuners are completely shot. But the unique thing about this guitar is it's got the original distributor badge in Paris, which is very rare in this condition. It's from Soccaro, Paris. Exclusive, France. Soccaro, Paris. Now, we know that they went out of business in around 1970, 69, 70, possibly as late as 1971. So that dates the guitar to the late 60s, mid 60s. This particular model was introduced by Hofner. It's made in Germany, German built guitar. It was introduced in 1951. They were making parlour guitars similar to this since the 1940s. This particular model, 512, was introduced in 1951, and in the mid 60s it got upgraded to a Mark II version. Now the interesting thing here is that it's got a black painted sound hole, and all the perforing is just black paint. It doesn't have any herringbone or anything on it, and certainly the sides and the back would be laminate. It's got a maple top, and I honestly don't know if it's solid maple or if it's laminate. And adding to that, it's got 0 fret, which if playing in first position means that the sound you get from first position is the same as if you're playing up the neck, and that seems to be the main advantage of having a 0 fret, which some guitars have. You can see that, the metal fret there, and that's quite a nice feature, especially if you're playing rhythm. As I say, the tuners here, I wouldn't change them, but to have the guitar playable consistently, I have to change the tuners. So I'm going to be taking these original tuners off, keeping them with the guitar, and replacing them with these that I got imported especially from the United States, from Stumac, who are the premier people for guitar parts. They're known worldwide for quality products. You can build a guitar, an acoustic guitar, electric guitar from scratch with Stumac parts you can get. I'm Johnny Ruffle, by the way. So I was actually going to get a professional musician to come in who's actually tutoring Luke on his guitar, which is here. It's an Ibanez. I'll show you very quickly. Luke, we're just going to show you your Ibanez guitar. Here's Luke's Ibanez. It's a beautiful short scale guitar he's had for just over a year, and he's really playing well with that. But this Hofner, back to the Hofner, this Hofner I picked it up in a charity shop about 4 years ago, was it, Gladys? Something like that, for literally a song and a dance. It was either I don't want to tell you because then if I sell it, you're going to want it for that price. But it was less than £10, and it was in a total disastrous mess. Strings looked like it hadn't been changed in 20 years, were broken. It was filthy dirty. It was full of dust. Never seen polish in its life. So the first stage I did was to clean it, take all the strings off and clean it, and then it came to restringing it, and that was where the challenge really came, because these guitars left the factory in Germany, both with steel strings and nylon strings, depending on what they had. Yeah, some guitars left the factory, right?
Yeah. Or
Some.
I think maybe some guitars, some of these I think these are rare. No.
These are very rare, and even the lower end guitars, such as this one, are fetching good money these days. I want to tell you why I like parlour. I'll try and get this thing here. Why I like parlour guitars. So although this, in guitar terms, isn't that old, it's certainly, it could be late 1950s. I'm going for saying it's 1960s. I would say between 1965 and 1968 or 9. So as far as guitars go, it's not that old. But this is the classic shape. If you went down to Mississippi, Delta region, if you went down to anywhere was blues was being played back in the 30s and the 40s, the sharecroppers and so forth. There, you look at photos and they're playing guitars the same shape and size as this parlour guitar. Now I know we had Martin with the Dreadnought, the famous Dreadnought, which is of course a wonderful guitar. But a lot of the crop pickers and so forth, they could never afford a guitar like a Martin. And so you'll see these old documentary films, and these folks in the 1930s are playing guitars like this Hofner. So if you can't afford a guitar from the 1930s, you know, pick yourself up something from the 1950s or 60s. I tuned this right before I came on air. And the other thing about the guitar right now, I play it right now because it's got completely dead strings on it. I've not changed these since the pandemic in 2020. We're now at the beginning of 2023, so that means that's over 2 years where I've not changed the strings. I've deliberately had it hanging on the wall because I wanted the finish to even out a bit with the sun, and I think I've been successful in that. I got some still photos that show all the imperfections of it. I've got no intention of selling it, but if we ever did, it's only fair that the buyer gets a really, really good representation of what it's like. As I said earlier, they came out of the factory with both steel and nylon strings, depending on the model year, etc. So I know that this guitar, though it's a classical guitar, it's capable with its string tension of taking steel strings. So as I said, I got it from the charity shop, and this young lady, or this old lady, is very fussy. And I tried putting extra light gauge Diodario steel strings on her. Didn't sound good. I took them off and put some not very expensive nylon strings on. Sounded even worse. And I was worried about the string tension, so I thought, well, what I could do is leave it in open tuning. So if I want an open tuning guitar, pick up this one and it's already in open tuning and play it. But that doesn't appeal to me, having a guitar that you only have in open tuning, simply because you're scared of putting too much tension on the neck. So asked around and got advice. It was suggested I try silk and steel strings. That's what's on this guitar right now. Worn out silk and steel strings. And how that works is that obviously the toppy and so forth are steel, but these 60 gauge strings are wound with a sleeve of silk or synthetic silk usually these days inside it, the nylon core. And what that does is it softens the sound, in theory lowers the tension. Well, I've not been satisfied. It still doesn't sound like the guitar I want it to be. So what we're going to do, I'm going to de-string this, take all the strings off, clean it up. I was going to change the bridge, the saddle rather, but I'm thinking it actually might be the original saddle, so I might actually leave. I was going to put a tusk saddle on it. I'll have a look. I've got a spare tusk saddle upstairs. If I can shape it to the required shape, I might replace it with a tusk saddle, otherwise I'll leave that. The bridge is okay, it's not coming off the guitar. And I'm going to string it controversially a little bit with nylon strings. And I've got some Diodario black nylon strings, so the bottom 3 strings will be in black nylon. Might be the bottom 4 strings, I'm not sure. I think it's just the bottom 3, the E, the A and the D. I have to check, because black strings were used a lot. Black diamond strings were used back in the 1930s, which apparently are absolutely awful. You can still get them, but they were cheap as chewing tobacco. And so that's what a lot of these blues players use. So what we're trying to do is get the thing back to full playability, and sometimes the softer ring of a nylon string guitar can actually be quite nice. And it's not a particularly resonant guitar, which makes me think it's probably a plywood top. But you know, I don't mind, because to me, the fact that although it's got scratches on it from wear and tear, I'm not going to try and do anything about that. It's got an immaculate Hofner decal on it, and up at the headstock it's got this beautiful dealer sticker. And if you look on the internet, you'll be hard pushed to find a dealer sticker from Sakaro in as good condition as this one. So we're going to change the tuners. I'm just praying and hoping that I don't have to drill a whole load of holes to make this fit. I may have to, I don't know. And then once I've got it so it stays in tune, it does literally want to stay in tune. You can see how loose it is. It's just crazy. So once we got it set up and tuned, I'm going to let a professional guitar player. In Birmingham we've got so many musicians. Back in the 60s it was Liverpool, London and Birmingham. Other places of course, but this is where so many musicians have come from. So I'm proud to be part of Birmingham, England, not Alabama, and to be able to be in contact with one or two of these musicians. That some of them are aging, a lot of them are the next second and third generation from musicians. If I name them, some of you would know who they are. And so I'm really blessed. I'm really blessed by Luke here, who's doing his homework. Our son Luke has been playing guitar for... I know. How long have you been playing guitar for? Is it 2 years now?
I don't know.
He's been playing guitar for a good length of time.
3 years old.
Since you were 3 years old, I think you had. And I've got a professional teacher, friend of ours, coming in once a week, because I don't want Luke to learn my terrible, terrible habits. Plus, I tend to only play in first position, and he's already beginning to outshine me on the guitar. And so I don't want to hold him back. And he picks up chords so quickly. I'm really impressed. So I think with the nylon strings, this will be easier on his fingers as well, so that he can play the electric guitar when he feels like it.
I feel like it.
You feel like it now. And if you want to sit down here, and he can play his acoustics. That's the guitar he started playing on the wall there. And so we've deliberately left instruments laying around the house since just about he was born. He started with drums when he was not 4 years old, and he was on a Roland drum kit. Took him out for a trial lesson, and he did really well. But we focus right now on the guitar, haven't we? You got it plugged in, Luke? Yep. Light on. So look. Yep.
Now I'll play.
Okay, Luke's gonna just do something for us with his guitar. We haven't checked the tuning on it since a couple of days, yesterday. So. So this is Luke's Ibanez Geo. It's an Ibanez Geo guitar, short scale. It's perfect for a beginner. We run it through a real basic amplifier because, thanks Luke, great. We run it through a real basic amplifier because we don't want, as a treat we'll run it through an amp that's got effects and things, but this is just running basic with just a tiny bit of reverb and stuff. So today you've heard from Luke and you've heard from Daddy with the Hofner. And next time you hear from us from the Hofner, hopefully you will be hearing the Hofner play. Why don't we do another video and we'll let you play another bit with the next video, okay? So on that we're going to say goodbye for the time being. Thank you very much, Luke. Thank you for that. That's
I've
Luke.
got a little trick here without the capo.
I can put it in the guitar rack without the capo. Right, that's it from Luke. That's it from me.
Oh no, I've got a little trick.
Oh, hang on. What's the trick? Where are you?
All I do is like put them here and all I do is like my two fingers, they're like running, and then I let go of my thumb, like that, and then my thumb back on the thing.
Camera's going all over the place. I'm sorry.
No, it's
Okay.
off. It's
All
already
right,
off.
we'll show you the next one, okay? And Luke's going to do some more practice. Thanks very much, everyone.
No,
God bless
it's
you.
already off.
No, it's not. Fun. It's off now. It's going off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bye-bye. Thank you.